Let's quickly deal with your earnings story, and then we'd like to get a sense of how the bank is prepared. So underlying profit coming in above estimates. What do we need to know about the full year story and how it delivered at Bank of Ireland?
Yep, thanks, Anna. So we've seen a strong rebound in our performance for 2021. That reflects economic growth in Ireland and other markets, but also really positive continued momentum in how we execute our strategy. And despite the geopolitical developments, which I imagine we're going to discuss, confidence in our growth outlook for 2022 and beyond. And as you said, I mean, we've seen the best performance since the global financial crisis for Bank of Ireland in 2021. And even pre-impairment, we're seeing operating profit up 53% year on year and up 25% if we compare ourselves to 2019 pre the pandemic.
Good morning, Francesca. Great results, as you say. Congratulations on that. Your capital ratio, 16% versus 15% estimated. But are you making any new plans to build up your capital ratios or to build up your reserves, or any special plans around funding this week, given what's happened over the weekend in terms of Russian banks into SWIFT and the freezing of Central Bank of Russia accounts?
No, I mean, I'll answer that in two ways. First of all, capital is actually a highlight of our 2021 results. We had 185 basis points of organic capital generated in 2021, and we're using our strong capital position for two things. One, we're doing two transformational acquisitions in Ireland, which we've announced, of a leading wealth management provider and also of KBC Ireland's portfolio. Those are the plans. And we're also announcing today the recommencement of distributions to our shareholders. So we're in a very, I think, a very good, favourable position to be able to do both. In terms of the Russia and the Ukraine situation, I mean, obviously what we're seeing is a humanitarian and political crisis unfold. As Bank of Ireland, we have no direct exposure to Russia or the Ukraine, and both of those countries aren't major trading partners to Ireland and our customers. The consequences for us are more on the second-order impact. So first of all, sanctions, and sanctions are being rolled out, and we stand ready to respond, and we have responded to everything we need to do, and we'll do more as required. And the second major impact is obviously on European energy and commodity prices and the impact that may have on inflation for our customers and in the Irish economy.
Yes, and in the very short term, Francesca, are you seeing any signs? Does the volatility we see in assets give you cause for concern? Is this a sort of constant, daily, maybe even hourly talking point amongst the management team at Bank of Ireland, just as we imagine it might be for other banks?
We're obviously keeping a close eye on developments. It's incredibly fluid. There's a lot of uncertainty. Like I said, it isn't in any way, Russia is not a part of our business, but we respond to the volatility in the market as you'd expect.
As you said, one of the main ways this will have a sustained impact is through the inflation channel. Do you think the ECB will be more focused on that, or do you think they'll be worried about the growth impact when it comes to their next policy decision?
Yeah, I mean, it's too early to say. I mean, at the moment, we're aligned to market consensus that ECB rates are likely to increase to zero later in 2022, and the market has expected further increases of circa 50 basis points over the following 2 years. Obviously, the situation in the Ukraine creates uncertainty and potential for increased inflation, and that may have a read across in terms of different outlooks for ECB rate rises. But I think we continue to monitor developments very closely.
Monitoring developments very closely. I know that our Markets Live team have been thinking about the inflation story, where this leaves the European growth story, for example, and asking a question about how long it'll be until the next European recession, Francesca. I mean, none of us has a crystal ball, and there are plenty of unknowns right now. Are you thinking about the way that the Eurozone economy develops differently now, given the latest developments?
Yes, although I would say that in our home market of Ireland, I mean, we've just seen 15% GDP growth last year, and our forecast is for 7.5% this year. Now, an important part of that does come from foreign direct investment, but also our domestic indigenous economy. And we've seen Irish household balance sheets really strengthen during the pandemic. We have deposits up at 23% and a very strong rebound in employment. So even though there's obviously uncertainty, the fundamentals of the Irish economy, with a lot of deleveraging in recent years and positive employment outlooks are favourable, and that informs our continued confidence in our growth outlook for 2022 and beyond.
Francesca, you're moving back into the wealth management business again, and I think this has been a theme of Irish banks kind of getting involved and kind of getting back out during previous squeezes, now getting back in. Is this for the long haul this time?
Absolutely. I mean, we are very excited about the acquisition of Ireland's leading wealth management provider. We look forward to completing that transaction subject to final approvals in 2022. Wealth and insurance has been a really important part of our strategy since 2018, and already wealth and insurance is about 42% of our group business income, which has been growing, and we've had a very good performance in 2021, and I'm positive about the future. The underlying demographics of the Irish economy are very supportive to wealth and insurance. You've got a young, well-employed population, probably underprovided for in terms of pensions and savings, who are looking for advice and ways to protect and grow their wealth. So we would feel very excited and look forward to welcoming Davy customers and colleagues to the group later this year.